everybody. Welcome to the Hallmarkies podcast. And we are so excited today. We have a very special guest. One of our favorite Hall stars is here. We are talking with Erin Cahill today. I'm film critic Rachel Wagner. And Erin, thank you so much for coming on the podcast.
Thank you for having me. Hi, honey. It's good to see you again.
I know. I think that you are the first Hall star that we've had on this podcast that, aside from maybe Jackson Shaw, if they count, that totally. I've actually met in person. This is very exciting.
You know what? Actually, I'm going to try and find, because I told you I found recently, like the TikToks we did when we met. I'm going to see if I can find them and hold them up to the camera. I remember meeting you so vividly.
It was very memorable. Especially, it feels even more so now because we can't get together, and I don't know, like those kinds of moments, don't they feel like even more special?
Yes.
Than they would. Yeah.
Because we took it for granted. I thought, oh, this is going to be a really special experience and something we'll remember because it's such a lovely moment.
Yeah.
But little did we know, girl.
Yeah. People that don't know what we're talking about. So last year you were in Love, Fallen Order.
Mm-hmm. And we were filming in Salt Lake, Utah.
With our friends Jackson Shaw from the Bubbly Sesh podcast.
Yes.
And I had scheduled with them to, have a meal together because, I wanted to meet them as fellow female podcasters and in this space and everything. And they are super sneaky, and they knew that I loved or that I really enjoyed Last Vermont Christmas. They approached you about this plan, right?
Yeah, about surprising you and me kind of bombing your meeting, and it worked out brilliantly.
Yeah, it was really fun.
Yeah. Here, I have, okay, so speaking of, here's the...
Oh, yeah, there it is.
Little TikTok. Wait, here, I'll play it. So fun, right? I remember exactly meeting you.
It was really fun. I knew I was a big fan of yours, and so we were sitting down to dinner, and she was looking at her phone, and I thought, and she was like, "Oh, it's one of those." She was like, "I'm coordinating an interview," and she's like, "It's one of those high maintenance celebrities or whatever." And I was like, "Yeah, I get that. We've been there." And I'm like, okay. And anyway, so we're just talking, and then in walks Erin into the restaurant, and I was just like, what is happening? It was so fun. It was really great.
I remember exactly, and we all felt nervous. Me, Shaw, and Jax. We just were like, is this going to go over well? And are we really going to surprise her? I remember all of us were like, it was like the highlight of, it's one of the highlights of that experience for me was having that moment with you. And it was so special.
It was really fun. And anyway, so let's talk about you and your career. So you started acting. I don't know if it was your first job was in Power Rangers, but it was one of your first jobs. And so how did you end up getting involved in that?
Oh, I love that question. My Hallmark fans, my Ranger fans, all of my fans I love, but you guys are like the most loyal, life-giving. And actually we just had a really cool comic come out for my characters starring in this comic. And, I did the Rangers 20 years ago. So the fact that my character is still so loved and still so highlighted, it just really rocks my world.
Yeah.
But I started, so that one was a funny story, but long story short, I entered this acting competition that was all over the Southeast. I grew up in Virginia. What am I even talking about? Virginia and New York. So all over the Southeast, and I won overall actor when I was, I think, 16. And they had me back as a special guest when I was 19, like to kind of host. I was kind of asked to host it. And the casting director of Power Rangers was there, and she was like, well, what are you up to? And I was like, well, I just trying to act, and she was like, well, I want you to come audition for Power Rangers. And I was like, oh, I've heard of that. Yeah, sure. Didn't even really think anything of it. And then cut to, 20 years later, it's one of the greatest influences of my life. It was really my jumping off point. So Iris Hampton, I love you always. And AMTC, thank you for giving me my start, the Arvin family. So that's how, and then it was like, and then I always tell the story, it was kind of like Survivor, because I auditioned, and then I auditioned for many times over, I think it was like an 8-month period. And then the last audition, you walked in and there were like 5 girls that looked just like me, 5 guys that looked just like the guy that got the Red Ranger, 5 guys, like you could tell you were like, oh, here's my competition. And then they just like they would weed us out as the day went on. They would pair us in different pairs, and then they would come out and go, okay, so and so, thank you so much. You're free to go. And every time they came out, it was like the movie Survivor. It was just like, please don't throw me off the island. And then I ended up getting
I'm slightly distracted by the fact that so you're a Survivor fan? Do you watch the show Survivor?
Okay, no, I've never seen it, but I have friends who are obsessed with it. So I use it as a reference for that story.
That's how I got started podcasting. Was I love this podcast called Rob Has a Podcast, which is all about Survivor and reality television.
Hilarious. No way.
Yeah, it's so
that's
good.
What I would bring up, and that was your start.
Yeah.
So
I was like, wow. But yeah, that's really cool. I mean, correct me if I'm wrong, and I know that there's lots of different iterations of the Power Rangers, but don't they morph the clips that you shoot in with clips from like the Japanese monster movies and other things like that? Don't they mesh it together? Right?
Exactly. So Hayao Saban was a genius and bought all of the Japanese footage, because this was a big hit and still is in Japan. It's been on for, I don't know how many years over there. And he bought all of their footage. So all like a bunch of the robots and a bunch of the, the fight scenes and things like that were spliced in with our footage shot in America. So they would so we kind of drew from their storylines. I don't know if they're still doing that, but that's what they were doing. I mean, for a lot of this series.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So what's that like when you're shooting it and that, I mean, you probably do a lot of stuff with green screen anyway, but that is all going to be spliced in. Like, how do you do that?
It's funny. Back doing it, they didn't really tell us what they were going to splice in. So we just were so focused on our part and what we were doing that I don't remember thinking like, oh, I've got to make it match anything. We were just kind of doing our thing. And then afterwards they would put it, and you would see like a big city landscape or like a big monster that we hadn't seen. I was like, oh, cool.
Yeah.
Otherwise they would just be like, okay, there's going to be a big monster and it's going to be this high. So everybody look at, this tennis ball and this stick.
Yeah.
And then
that must be weird. I guess you get used to it.
Yeah. I think you just, we're adaptable humans, man. We get used to anything. So you just kind of get used to it. And then that's the norm. And, but it's a joy. It was such a joy. I always say like, that's part of the reason I love making every set a family. Like I try to learn the crew's name within a week. And, I obviously just like, so I do it so that I can be like, hey, Bob, good morning. Or, hey, Kathy, how's your family? Or, when they come up and do the slate, I can be like, Corey, don't hit me with the slate. I love making it a family. And I think that stems back from that job because we were all such a little family and we still keep in touch.
Yeah, that's great.
Yes.
That's really cool. Well, so then you were also on How I Met Your Mother. Mm-hmm. You got to play Ted Mosby's younger sister. He's kind of protective of, she's pushing the rules. I loved that show. I hated the ending, but I still love the show.
Listen, lots of people were really upset with the ending.
It was one of the first videos I ever did on YouTube. On my other channel, I did a 30-minute rant about how much I tear-filled. I mean, I was so upset.
And, personally, I was like, I feel like the whole family should have been at the wedding. Just saying.
Yeah.
I know when I read a bunch of reviews.
Yeah, they should have. You're right.
That was like one of the top 10 things that was wrong with the episode, is that the reviews I read, at least the ones that people sent me, was, people going, Heather Mosby should have been there.
Yeah.
This wedding. I was like, I agree, guys.
Yeah, I agree too.
So maybe I wasn't glad I was part of that ending.
Probably not. It was so bad.
No, but I was so happy to be in that family, like so happy to be part of it.
Yeah, it must have been fun. I mean, it seems like a really fun group of cast.
Neil Patrick Harris has got to be one of the most fun humans.
Yeah.
Just like, oh, what a fun human.
Yeah.
He was like singing show tunes right before we went. It was so fun.
Was he? That's awesome. Oh my gosh. That's cool. So then you got Sleigh Bells Ring was your first role for Hallmark. And how did you end up getting that role? And were you like a fan of what Hallmark does before, or was just kind of how did that happen?
I love that question because it's so funny. I was doing an interview earlier, like earlier
Yeah.
today, and I was talking about Sleigh Bells Ring, which was directed by Marita Grabiak, produced by Tim Johnson and Maura Dunbar, were two of the producers. And I remember so vividly because until then I had spent the majority of my career, other than Power Rangers, I had spent a lot of time crying and dying was my phrase. You know, my friends were like, you made a living out of crying and dying.
Yeah.
And then, so remember I got the offer for Sleigh Bells Ring and I was like, wow, what a cool, like, yay. I'm so excited to tell stories that are lighter and that make people happy and yay. So I got that and it was really random and I haven't hardly told anybody this story. So I auditioned for I think it was like a thriller or I don't remember what, but I auditioned for something, not a rom-com. So maybe it had a comedic element, maybe I was a comedic element, but anyway, I didn't get the part I auditioned for, but it was the same casting director and they remembered me and gosh, I should go back and find them and said, I'm sure I sent them something. I always send a thank you because getting a job in this business is like a miracle. So I always send a thank you, but they really kicked it off. They were like, I think she'd be good in this genre. And I hadn't really I'd done comedy. I'd done sitcoms. I was a lead of a sitcom on Fox or the female lead. And so I'd done that kind of stuff. And that was like kind of a rom-com my character was anyway, because I was the love interest of the lead guy, but I hadn't done this. And I'm so grateful that this door was opened for me because now it's like one of the greatest joys of my life and of my career. I'm so thankful. So yeah, so I'm so sorry. Am I rambling too much?
No, please, you're doing great. So had you watched Hallmark movies growing up or did you know kind of the genre?
I had seen them,
Yeah.
but I wasn't like a total Hallmarkie like I am now. Like, you know, now, and also it's because I'm a bit spoiled now. So all my friends are in them, you know? So I'm like I get so excited whenever like Nikki has a movie or Ashley or Lacey or, you know, the list goes on and on. I'm like, oh, my friends. So, and I'm so honored to be amongst those ladies. I can't even tell you, I'm honored. Honored. So,
well, I mean, a pretty fun one to start with David Alpay.
Yeah,
he's great. I'm so excited he's back this year. He hasn't done one for a little bit. He's back.
Oh, which one did he do this year? What lucky girl got him?
It's The Christmas Ring. It's actually coming up. Actually, by the time this airs, it'll probably have already aired, I think. The Christmas Ring.
Oh, well, I hope whoever's watching it that you enjoyed it.
Yeah, that's right.
I get it. You know what? I'm going to write that down. He's going to be on my list of people to contact after this today. Alpay. Yeah. I love that guy.
So good. And so then you had Last Vermont Christmas and
with Justin.
Yes. Who I already enjoyed him from Last Vermont Christmas, but now everybody's come to fall in love with him with Sweet Magnolias.
Right.
And which is such a great show. And I don't know, I just liked the sort slightly more comedic energy to this movie than you sometimes see. And was because they added this kind of last minute. Was this an acquisition? Was this something filmed outside of Hallmark and then added? Yeah.
So it's really funny, actually. You asked about Sleigh Bells Ring really quick. That one was also I'll never forget. It was like the 2 days before my wedding, maybe, or 3 days before my wedding. And we were in France and we had rented this like house in France. And I got a call from my agents and they were like, do you want to do a Christmas movie when you get back? And I remember being like, looking up and being like, thank you for that wedding gift. Yeah. You know, and that was Sleigh Bells Ring. So that was how it all started, it felt like a wedding gift. And then Last Vermont Christmas, I hadn't done a movie for Hallmark. So that one was like, when I did it was like, that was a straight up Hallmark. So I was like, yay, I'm going to be in the family. And, but it wasn't one of their bigger ones, like kind of like the last couple, you know, like the,
right.
So it was just, I might have been an acquisition, but they knew they were going to sell it to Hallmark is maybe how it went.
Okay.
But I don't remember exactly, but Last Vermont Christmas was a straight up independent with a producer I had worked with before. And, they kept saying maybe it'll go to Hallmark, and I was like, cool, but I didn't know for sure. So I think they knew when they hired me that they were going to sell it to Hallmark, but I didn't know till after, which was great because Danny Roth, Margaret Huddleston, I love you guys, thank you. But that one was like I didn't know that one was going to go to Hallmark until later, so I was thrilled.
So let's talk about Hometown Christmas, because this one should have been called Amazing Snow Room, is what I think. Because that snow room was so great. I absolutely loved it.
Oh,
and I mean, I don't. The rest of the movie was fine, but the snow room was the best.
okay,
and I loved that in that movie. Was that fun at all to film?
First of all, can I just tell you, like, I love that you're like, it should have been called the Snow Room.
Yes.
Rachel, I looked forward to that scene so much. And that one was a little tough because that was ended up being for like Lifetime, not Hallmark, but it was so fun. And and I'm just so grateful I got to do it. And Beverly is like, what a doll.
Yeah.
But the producer is Daniel Lewis down in Louisiana. I love him. I'll work with him, as often as I can. But the Snow Room, I was like, I would say yes just for that scene alone. Yeah.
It was amazing.
And now I'm exclusively Hallmark, so I'm really glad I got to do that before I became exclusively Hallmark Christmas.
Uh-huh.
So I'm really glad I got the chance to do that. But
if people don't know, there's a scene in where you're feeling lonely, you're not with your family, you're with your fiance or whatever, and so he makes this whole room out of shredded paper that's all snow. It was great. I loved it.
I thank you. I love that scene, and so the fact that you brought it up, I'm like, thank you. Yeah.
I don't forget about these things. I remember also in that movie had a really good near kiss, because usually the near kisses drive me crazy because they're so ridiculous. And in that one, like you interrupt their kiss and then you actually have a conversation about it. You're like, I'm so sorry.
Right. I loved that detail too, because normally you're like, oh, the phone ring or we've all been there, right? But that one I was like, sorry.
Yeah. Sorry about that.
That's so real life, right? I love that. So thank you for picking up on that.
Yeah. If there was going to be a near kiss, if that was actually going to happen in real life, that's how it would happen. You'd be like, I'm so sorry. I ruined your moment.
Yeah. Good memory. Okay. Thank you so much.
Yes. So Love, Fall in Order. Then, of course, you filmed here in Utah. You got to meet me. It's very exciting. But I enjoyed the film. I thought it was really cute, and it must have been pretty fun to film with Jackson Shaw and Trevor and everybody.
That one was honestly like one of my favorites. Such a joy. The producer, Mary Beth Sprousey, is she's not at Hallmark anymore. She went over to Sony, but it was one of her favorites at Hallmark. It's been one of my favorites at Hallmark. The director, Claire Niederpruem. I will follow that woman like anywhere. I just love her, and her husband, McLean Nelson, who was one of the producers. The whole team was honestly like, I couldn't have dreamt for better. And it was just such and I joke like that movie, I just ate for 3 weeks straight. Do you remember that movie? I was like eating candy apples, and I was like baking that
they're like I never stopped or something, eating. Right?
Yeah, donuts. And I'm like, I'm not one of those actors who, and like, bless it, some people don't like to eat on camera, and that's fine. Not me. I'm like, har, har. So by like the 8th take, I've had 2 burgers, I literally I was filming something last week, and I had one of the producers go, girl, slow it down. Just wait till we get to your coverage. I was like, but it's delicious. That movie was a real dream. What a gift. Mm-hmm. And I love Salt Lake, and just the hair and makeup team, everybody was, it was a dream. That's we kept going cool. Can we do a sequel? And Trevor Donovan, I mean, he is as sweet as he seems, Rachel. Have you ever gotten to interview him?
No, never have.
Oh, yeah. What a doll.
That's great. I'm so happy as a Utahn. I'm glad to hear it, and hope you get to do a sequel and come back, and maybe we can socially distance dinner or something again.
I would love that. Or hopefully there's a vaccine soon. But yeah, I would
I
love that.
know. Please.
And this is a shout out to the Utah Film Commission.
Yes.
Yeah.
And so speaking of eating food on a movie, so Random Acts of Christmas, you had this amazing looking waffle with that you eat because we called this movie Random Acts of Christmas. We called it the Christmas Batman movie because it's basically about Bruce Wayne like doing all these like undercover.
Okay. So that's what we would say. I was like, I don't know how racy I'm allowed to get on this, but I was like, it's Batman. We totally made that reference on set. But I also said it's a little bit of 50 Shades of Grey. Like this, like this rich guy comes in and yeah.
That's true.
Oh my God. Right?
That puts a whole new look on it. But he takes you to this food truck and you get these stuffing waffles with turkey and gravy and cranberry sauce, and it looks so delicious.
Okay, and they were actually good. I was like, this is like, we need to market this because they just made it up for the movie. Yeah. But you're right. It was a waffle with, it was basically like a Thanksgiving dinner or like a Christmas dinner on top. Yeah. Stuffing, turkey, cranberry, gravy on a waffle. Actually, that's a great idea.
Yeah.
I should think about making that this Christmas.
It's like, it's one of those things that how can it be bad? Like literally all those things are delicious.
Yeah. And then you put, it's like a plate. Except it didn't have mashed potatoes. Ooh. So then we'll have to work on that.
Maybe have those on the side, maybe.
Right? The Christmas waffle, everything waffle with a side of mashed potatoes. Oh. Yeah. Oh, I love the holidays. It's a big and a side of mac and cheese, because that's a tradition in our home. So mac and cheese, side of mac and cheese.
Oh, really? Do you have mac and cheese with your Thanksgiving?
Girl, Thanksgiving, Christmas. I had it last night and I took a picture of it to send to my husband. I had baked mac and cheese, like this big thing of it, so good, and meatballs on the side.
Oh, that sounds good. Oh, yeah, we never had mac and cheese at our Thanksgiving growing up, but ours were pretty standard. Although my grandma would make these fruit salads, like they were kind of like yogurt cups things that were frozen. Ooh. Oh. They were really good. Those were really good. I've never seen them anywhere else. They were really good. But anyway.
You gotta maybe try and recreate them one day.
I know. I think I should. Yeah, I will. Okay. So Christmas on the Range is interesting because that was available last year, but now it's being on Up TV this year. So people might have a chance to see it, hopefully. Yeah. And was that fun to like basically be a cowgirl?
Listen. That movie, talk about a dream come true. Yeah. I mean, again, now I'm exclusively Hallmark Christmas girl, and I'm so grateful. I love it, love you, Hallmark. But I'm glad I got to do that before I that one was just, I've been telling my reps for 20 years, I want to ride a horse on camera. And when I got the offer for that one, I almost didn't even have to read the script. I read Ranch Owner Rides Horses and I was like, yes.
Yeah.
I mean, let me look at it. Let me read it. But then like Lindsay Wagner, Martinez, Nick Gonzalez, to have those as the other three leads. Oh, Rachel.
Yeah. It was a fun one too, because it had like a little bit more soapy quality than the typical Christmas movie that you get. Like there's like people that are bitter and kind of out for revenge and love triangles and stuff like that, which I enjoy.
Yeah, me too. This was definitely a little more gritty and like you said, there's like revenge and people sabotaging each other. A little
more melodrama, I would say.
A little more melodrama. I got to punch a guy and kick him where it hurt. Like that's fun. That's just plain fun. But that one, I was actually talking about that to someone today, that I got to ride a horse for weeks. And I started doing like horse training before I left LA. And then when I got there, we did, a week of horse training before we started. And then I got to ride the horse. So it was like 5 or 6 weeks. I was just kind of on a horse. Dream come true.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That would be fun.
Wait, I'll find one of my favorite pictures. I love showing pictures on
Yeah.
my phone. It's like one of my favorite things. Well, I have it saved in my favorites, but thank you for asking about it. And like I said, that cast.
Yeah.
I mean,
And
we're all on it. What?
if people didn't watch it last year, it's going to be on Up TV this year. So they have a chance to see it.
Yeah.
Oh, there you are.
Yeah.
Yeah. Nice.
Oh,
That's
it
a
was
beautiful
so
horse.
fun. Oh, that horse is something special. It was the horse from Sleepy Hollow. Do you remember that TV show?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
so he was a total show horse. He cracked me up because he would be just like being a horse and kind of whatever, and then they would call action, and I'm not even kidding, Rachel. He would go. I was like, "You are a profesh." All right.
They have those well-trained. I've interviewed a few of the actors from on the show Heartland. And
yeah.
on that show, the things they do with the horses is just incredible. Amazing.
Have you interviewed Kevin McGarry?
I have interviewed Kevin McGarry, and I talked to him about the Christmas Batman and a movie. Things. He was the king of Christmas last year. I mean, he made 5 Christmas movies last year. So,
I know. I felt like just a number to Kevin. No, I'm just kidding. I love Kevin McGarry. Actually, he's going to go on my list of people to contact after this. I love that guy. He is what a gem.
He was a really, really, really fun interview. I thoroughly enjoyed talking to him.
Aww.
And real down to earth, and it was really fun. And then you had The Secret Ingredient this year. And so that was the first movie to get adapted from a Hallmark novel. And so now you're in the second one coming up. But that must have been pretty fun to have be a part of the fake Chopped show.
Okay. So many things about that. First of all, I mean, I don't know if they'll see it, but Ian Dimmerman and Lincoln Lagason were the producers. I love you guys. What a dream. That movie, so fun. And talk about, again, just nonstop eating. So yes, my co-star, Brendan Penny, who's wonderful. Actually, I'm going to text him as soon as we get off too. We were just texting the other day. We just laughed. I don't know if you've ever gotten to interview Brendan, but he is just nonstop laughter. So fun. And he would just be like, Cahill, what are you doing? Because in between takes on I was a baker. So in between takes on the set, I would literally be eating chocolate chips. I'd be eating sprinkles. And I would always ask props. I'd be like, can I eat these? And they're like, yeah. I'm like, sweet. He's like, how are you? What?
You know what? Because Christmas. Jen Lilly told us that he is a goof. That such a goof. That Brendan Penny is a goof. And Andrew Francis confirmed and agreed that he was also a goof. So I feel pretty confident now to say.
Oh, he's the kind of guy on set who would not only make jokes nonstop, and you're literally stop, I have to focus, but he would just play jokes, and he would you know what I mean? He would do, he's a comedian. He's amazing.
We have coming up Timeless Christmas, and this looks really different. I mean, I know it's based on the book, but so Ryan Pavey goes back in time or forward in time?
Forward in time. And let's just talk about Ryan Pavey. I know what do they call them? Pavey
heads, I think, or something
like that. Pavey pack.
Oh, Pavey pack. You're right.
The Pavey pack. That's right. And I get it, girls. He's just awesome. Such a great actor. Just a great guy. I had so much fun. We just would talk about laughing all the time. Uh-huh. And I'm so grateful to have him as my first movie back after COVID. And, but this movie is so special, Rachel. I feel like it was maybe years leading up to this, and I'm so talk about grateful.
I mean, the only other time we've had time travel in Hallmark is when Candace Cameron Bure rode the comet all the way from the 1940s. So I'm is this part of our cinematic universe of time travel?
I know. So when I got offered the movie, I was like, ooh, time travel. And they were like, yeah, we've only done one with Candace Cameron Bure. And I was like, well, honored to be in that legacy. Heck yeah. Yeah. I've never met her, but I am such a fan. Yeah. So it's a really fun, really cute. And he just does such a good job coming from being of that time in modern day. He's just adorable.
I think it's going to be I'm really excited because I think his like sweet spot is him playing basically variations on Darcy. And
Yes. And
and
that's what I hear from a lot of the fans.
yeah, and so I'm hoping that it'll be kind of like that. Like, have you ever seen Kate and Leopold
Yes.
with Hugh Jackman and Meg Ryan?
Yes.
I kind of maybe a little bit of that going on, maybe.
You know, there is totally a little bit of that.
Woo!
And so I really hope that people like it because I had such a joy doing it. We all had such a joy doing it. But also, I think it's really unique and it's special and it's a story that hasn't really been told a lot on the network. And so, we just talked about it hasn't been told a lot. So I'm just like, I hope everybody likes it. But you got to let me know, girl.
I will. I'm looking forward to it. So basically, he comes through time, and he meets you, and you're a tour guide, right?
Well, I don't want to give away too much. I'm a tour guide at his mansion.
Right.
So there's an element of we are all still are in period clothes and
okay, very good. That's gonna be fun. I'm definitely looking forward to it. All right. Well, we like to end our interviews with some fun, silly questions. So we have the holiday edition of the fun, silly questions for you. Okay. What is your favorite holiday drink? And it doesn't have to be alcoholic.
Well, eggnog, non-alcoholic and alcoholic.
Okay, good. All right. What is your favorite holiday cookie or treat?
Ooh, I mean, I love a classic chocolate chip cookie. Dipped in said eggnog but like the soft, gooey, sometimes but also conversely, I love pumpkin pie at Thanksgiving and Christmas. My family usually used to make one just for me. They'd make one for the family share and one just for me, and I'd eat it the whole week.
The nice thing about pumpkin pie is it's really hard to screw up. I mean, unless you forget the sugar, that's really the only way. I mean, anyone you can make a pumpkin pie, and it's so you know that at least there'll be one thing on there on the spread that's delicious.
That is so well said. And I've even had like vegan pumpkin pie lately. So good.
Oh yeah.
So good. No.
Oh, that's interesting. I've never had vegan. But I'll trust you. I'll believe you. Okay. What is your favorite Christmas song or carol?
Gosh. My husband has one coming out this Christmas. You'll see it on my social media. So that's my new favorite. Yeah.
What's your
Paul Freeman. He's a musician.
Awesome. Okay.
We'll on my social media, you'll see it. So I'll definitely, it's so good. And it's with another artist called Justina Kelly, and it's a duet, and it's so precious. I love the song so much. So that's my great. New favorite Christmas song. Oh gosh. I mean, I think White Christmas because of the movie.
Yeah. It's a good one. Well, speaking of that, then what's your favorite classic Christmas movie?
Oh, White Christmas.
Yeah.
Every year, gotta watch it, in love with it. I mean, there's so many though in my family. It's a tradition to watch Christmas Story. I mean, every word. My sister and I are like total weird. Like we will mouth along with it like fragile, must be Italian,
Yeah.
What's your favorite Christmas movie?
I mean, that's really hard to say. I mean, I love Charlie Brown.
And the Halloween one too.
Yeah, it's so good. Yeah. I love It's a Wonderful Life. I love Christmas Carol in like so many different variations. I love Christmas in Connecticut. Have you ever seen Christmas in Connecticut? No. You really should, because it's like the forebearer of holiday rom-coms. So you really should be grateful for it. It's really good.
I should pay homage to Christmas in Connecticut.
It's really good. Anyway, so those are some of my favorites. What's your favorite holiday tradition to every year?
Oh, when I was little, my sister and I would get up and we would sneak down the stairs, and because our stairs, we could grab like over the little ledge, and we would grab our stockings and we would bring them back upstairs, and we would open our stockings for like, I mean, however long it took. It felt like an hour. It could have been 10 minutes. I was a kid. But still to this day, I think about that. And And my mom still to this day makes us Christmas stockings, and we open them together and we try and open them at the same time. And she wraps up, like she'll, put a nail file in there and she'll wrap it up, and candy, and we each get like the same candy. So I just love the tradition of a Christmas stocking. But the other thing that I really, really love is we watch movies together in our pajamas, like all night, and we play games, and then we wake up and keep our pajamas on through, dinner time, basically.
So your mom helps Santa out with the stockings, right?
Right, exactly.
That sounds really fun. Okay, so next, so which do you prefer, Scrooge or the Grinch?
Scrooge.
Okay.
And good. Scrooge, with Bill Murray.
Yes, love
Classic.
it. Okay, clear lights or colored?
Oof, depends on the year. That one is, I would normally have clear answers for both, like decisive answers, but some years I get multicolored lights and put them everywhere, and then some years I'm all about the white twinkle.
What are you going to do 2020?
I don't know.
Well, let us know on the on social media what you decide.
The tree behind you with the white twinkle lights and the red ornaments looks so perfect.
Yeah.
So yeah,
it'll inspire you. Yeah. Okay. Would you rather be in a snowball fight or build a snowman?
Ooh. Oh, Rachel, these are hard. It depends on my mood. If I'm going to be somewhere for a long time, build a snowman so I can look at it every day and it can bring me joy, and the act of it is super fun. But if it's like somewhere I'm just going to be for, a few days, totally a snowball fight.
Yeah. Well, the only thing about building a snowman is it has to be a lot of snow.
That's true.
Yeah. Or you
can build like a mini one. You can build like a mini snowball.
I guess that's true.
Put him on a ledge.
Yeah. You could. That's true.
Yeah.
Would you consider yourself a good gift wrapper or not?
Medium at best.
Okay.
Medium at best.
That's kind of where I'm at. If I really work hard, if I focus, I can do a good job. But most of the time I'm just like, it's fine. It's fine. Yes. All right. Last question. Okay. Do you have an ugly Christmas sweater?
Oh yeah. Oh, I have at least, I have two, but one of them says, oh my gosh, I'm trying to remember it from last year. Hold on, let me see if I can find it. And then I have another one from a couple years ago that says, doesn't say anything, sorry. It's got like bells, like actual jingle bells on it. And just like, it's really loud and it's black, but it's got like all these colors, and it's just, and I think it might light up. My husband's definitely lights up, but we have like a couple ugly Christmas sweaters, and I'm just like, I love ugly Christmas sweaters, but that one in particular, I'll wear it into a room and I'll go like, so it's like jingle, 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 jingle. And then the other one says, and the other one is a green Christmas sweater, and it says, take me home tonight. And it has like a Christmas tree.
Yes.
Take me
even
home
as a
tonight.
pun. I love it. That's
right. It has like a Christmas gnome on it.
Yeah. So you basically slay it at the cast party.
I love an ugly Christmas sweater.
Yeah.
Give me an ugly Christmas sweater party every year, except for this year, but next year.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
Yeah.
That sounds fun. All right. Well, very good. You passed the test. you can keep making Christmas movies.
Oh, geez. Thanks. Phew.
Yeah.
If I'd known it was a test, I would have been way more nervous.
Well, thank you so much. This was a delight to get to talk with you. It was so fun.
Too.
And we're really looking forward to the new film. And so if you're listening or watching, put it in the comment section, your thoughts on all the different things we talked about. And if people want to reach you to social media, how can they do that? It's
the Erin Cahill we did that because there were different Erin Cahills. So I just thought that was easier. And it was kind of across all platforms. So Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, I think it's all the Erin Cahill. Instagram, I read all my comments. Even if I don't comment back, I read them all. So please know I see you, I hear you, and thank you. So that's a great way to connect with me. And I just want to take a second to say, thank you so much for having me. You're a delight. And I was so happy to meet you in person, and so happy to be on the Hallmarkies podcast. I've been wanting to for a while, for a long time. And then I just want to say, all my fans out there, from whatever you're from, Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. I could not do it without each and every one of you. So I thank you. I send you my love, and I hope that everyone's doing well in this wild time. And thanks for sticking with me in this time, and just know that my heart is with yours too. And so,
well, Merry Christmas, and we'll definitely have you back on because this was so much fun.
Thank you, and Merry Christmas and Happy Holidays.
Yes, that's right. That's right. Well, all right, everybody. Well, thanks again. And make sure that you're following the podcast at Hallmarkies Pod and Hallmarkies Podcast, all over social media. And if you're listening on iTunes, please leave your ratings and reviews. We really appreciate that. And if you are watching on YouTube, please give this video a thumbs up and subscribe to the channel. We appreciate that so much. We have our Patreon group and merch store with tons of fun festive designs. And you can follow me at Rachel's Reviews, all over social media, iTunes, YouTube, and on Rotten Tomatoes. So make sure that you check that out. Woo! And thanks again, Erin. I really appreciate it. And Merry Christmas, everyone. Bye.